this is Kevin, and welcome back to another anime review. And today I'm going to share my thoughts on the 2005 mecha anime series, Gun Sword. It's spelled Gun X Sword, but as most series that have X in it, it's not pronounced, so it's just Gun Sword. And I gotta say, dude, this series was fucking incredible. A series nobody talks about. If you search it on YouTube, there's hardly any reviews, and all the reviews have no views. Like, I don't think there's a review over 10,000 views on YouTube. The DVD is no longer in print. It never even got a Blu-ray release. It had a Funimation Save Edition DVD from, I guess, like the early 2010s, which is no longer in print. If you're looking for one, they're like over $100 on eBay, so I had to watch this online. And, you know, it's only 26 episodes, so it's not incredibly long. And I gotta say, if you're not hooked after watching the first episode, you know, something's wrong with you. You got shit taste. I hate to break it to you, but I gotta say, absolutely love this series. This was recommended to me by my friend Justin, who has recommended this series multiple times to me. I look from time to time in my comments section. You can, you know, on YouTube Studio, you can filter and just type in keywords. And he's actually posted this in a comment multiple times, you know, saying you got to watch this one. I finally got around to it. I should probably heed his other suggestions because there's some other stuff there that he's like, oh, watch this one too. But, you know, the next series I'm going to watch is Bleach, but that's another story. Anyway, it's a mecha anime series, a very interesting mecha anime series because of the way that they summon their mechs, in particular the main character, Vaughn. And, you know, you sort of saw in the intro there, he has a cowboy hat on, and there's like this ring where he like puts his finger through the ring and like turns the hat to the other side. It almost reminds me of like Ash when he's catching a Pokemon in, you know, Pokemon, where he has the hat facing forward and then he turns it backwards. But, you know, Vaughn moves his cowboy hat around, and he has like this sword wrapped around his waist, like a sash, and he like whips the sword out and like puts it on the ground, does the thing with his hat, and he summons the mech from fucking outer space. There's like these satellites in outer space where the mechs come down, if they're summoned anyway. In particular, there's 7 really powerful mechs called the Original 7. And, you know, I should have looked into this, the naming, the reason why they have these names, but his mech is called Dan of Thursday. And, like, it's just, like, such a basic name, Dan. Whereas you have, like, other mechs in the Original 7. There's one called Diablos. There's another one called Dahlia. There's one called Birthday. And his is just called Dan. Which, I don't know if there's any symbolism into that, or I'm looking too deep into it. But, you know, it's pretty cool mechanics there. And basically the main plot is Vaughn. Why am I calling it Van? It's spelled Van. It's pronounced Vaughn. But Vaughn is out there looking for revenge against this man named the Claw, who murdered his wife, Elena, and he won't stop until he seeks his revenge, kills the Claw. And in the very first episode, he meets this young girl named Wendy Garrett, who is actually looking for her brother named Michael, and it turns out we learn later in the series that Michael is actually working with the Claw, and we learn this, I think, around like episode 11 or 12. Episode 12 is where we get the reveal of the Claw, like what he actually looks like and what his motives are. I think episode 11 is where we see Michael, and then he tells Wendy, you know, go home, because he's in cahoots with the Claw now. So, you know, she's just tagging along with Vaughn. Vaughn's like, oh, you don't want anything to do with me, because he's just, he's essentially like a, I guess, not a homeless guy, but a vagabond, we'll say. And he's just going from place to place, trying to find the Claw. He's got no leads, and he's just walking from town to town, and some funny, like, humor. Anytime he goes to a new city, he gets something to eat. He's like, yeah, give me what you got, and a glass of milk, and the condiments. All of them. And there's like a pause. The condiments. All of them. And then every single time there's a scene of him like dumping all the fucking condiments. The ketchup, mustard, mayo, soy sauce, whatever the fuck he's got. Salt and pepper, just dumping it onto his food. And it's so funny because multiple times Wendy is like, you know, what are you doing, bro? and like even later on, they're on a ship to get to the next destination, right? And she's like, oh, you're embarrassing us about, well, this is how I like my food. You know, he's always fighting back with her. And there's another character later on named Priscilla who, like, makes the meal for him. And even still, he's, like, putting the condiments on. She's like, I already seasoned it. Well, this is how I like it. It's just so fucking funny. I was dying every time it happened. I thought it was hilarious. But anyway, let me get to the voice cast. So there's quite a few characters there. Obviously, Vaughn is our main character, voiced by David Vincent. Well, I looked up David Vincent. You know, he's been in a lot of stuff, particularly Naruto, and in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, he's billed as the narrator in every series, so I think that's pretty interesting, especially if you've watched this series and know what Vaughn's voice is like. You know, that's pretty good voice for a narrator, that's for sure. Wendy Garrett, who's voiced by Stephanie Shea, who, I've watched a lot of Stephanie Sheh stuff recently. Eureka and Eureka 7, Yui in Sword Art Online. She's Orihime in Bleach, Hinata in Naruto, among many, many roles. She's a great voice actress. I loved her in Eureka 7. Like, honestly, after rewatching Eureka 7, I know we're not talking about Eureka 7, but I am because of the voice actress. But that's in my top 5 favorite anime series after rewatching it. So she did a phenomenal job as Wendy. Carmen99, voiced by Michelle Ruff, another veteran of the voice acting industry. Ray Lundgren, voiced by Liam O'Brien, another phenomenal job by that voice actor right there. Joshua Lundgren, Ray's brother, voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, another legend. I mean, did a phenomenal job as the younger brother there. Then we have Priscilla, voiced by Carrie Savage. Yukiko Stevens, voiced by Megan Hollingshead, who voiced Mai Valentine in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Rangiku in Bleach. The villain, the Claw, is voiced by the legend Kirk Thornton. And then for Johnny Young Bosch, how can I forget that? Voices Michael Garrett, Wendy's brother. And then Damien Clark. I think he voiced Cell in Dragon Ball. He voices a character, a villain named William Will Woo, part of the original 7. So, a fucking phenomenal voice cast. And, I gotta get this little rant out of here. So many people, like the anime elitists, always go, the English dub sucks. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, the English dub is fucking awesome, especially when you get good quality voice actors like who I just listed there. Me being a bit slow, it's difficult for me to watch and read. Like, even when I watch Digimon Ghost Game, I'm constantly pausing and rewinding because I miss things. So, it's just easier that way. And these guys all did a phenomenal job. Like, I'll get to later, like, when Vaughn sees the claw, and he's like, you see his eyes, he's like, the claw, yo, I'm coming after you. Like, it's fucking incredible, man. The voice acting's so good in this, especially from the talent I just listed there. But anyway, it starts, their misadventures of Vaughn and Wendy just going from town to town. The first 3 episodes are really quite goofy. In the first episode, there's this guy named Lucky, and he's this deranged lunatic who's there, and he's got like this roulette board. He's like, oh, you lucky or unlucky? I'm gonna kill you all. And he's like a fucking madman. And Vaughn saves the day there reluctantly. Like, he's like a reluctant hero almost. But he saves the day there. Then in the next episode, they're like, they're dealing with this guy with this fucking mustache, where the mustache like grows really long and starts attacking people. And it's quite goofy, but the plot definitely thickens. Episode 3, which I posted that clip a few weeks ago of the Dorado Five. Holy fuck, dude, it's Kino, man. The Dorado Five really there's 4 of them. Their mech is the 5 because there was a 5th member, Chizuru, who's actually Yukiko's grandmother who passed away. But these guys are like the old chiseled veterans, the legendary heroes they're referred to, who are in the bar all the time, just reminiscing about old times. And everyone's like, oh, you guys, that never happened. Like, they don't believe it. And then all of a sudden, this asshole starts terrorizing the town in his mech suit, which they call the mechs in this series armors. So he's in the armor terrorizing the town. And they were locked up by the sheriff because they're just raising a racket. And they're like, oh, we can't have you old-timers just causing trouble to the young folk. And he lets them out because, this guy's in the armor terrorizing the town. And it's like, well, we gotta tell the young folk if we don't make it back. We gotta see this through. And they get in their fucking armors, and they all, like, combine to this fucking awesome mech called the Dorado 5, and then later it turns into the Dorado Soul. It gets even more of an evolution. And it's just so fucking awesome. If you didn't see that video from 2 weeks ago, I'll have it in the description. It gives me goosebumps, man, because then we get Yukiko where she starts, like, singing a song. A fucking goosebumps just talking about it. But great scene there. And all these characters who you meet early on, you might think they're, like, one-off characters, like Carmen, Yukiko, the Eldoro bros. They appear like towards the end of the series again to help out in the final battle, which is so fucking awesome. So throughout all this, we eventually meet Ray, who is also trying to kill the Claw because the Claw actually murdered his wife. Let me get his wife's name. I forget her name. It's like Shino, I think. Yeah, Shino. So Shino was killed by the Claw. So Ray's out there looking for revenge, runs into Vaughn, and then they have a little skirmish because Vaughn's like, I'll kill the Claw. No, I'll kill the Claw. So they're going at it. And then we meet Joshua, who is the younger brother of Ray, who doesn't want Ray to be involved in this nonsense. And Ray's like, oh, leave me alone, Joshua. I must see this through. So they have those hijinks ensue. And then, about midway through, like I said, I think it's episode 11, Wendy comes across her brother. And she's been carrying this gun with her, which her brother gave to her when he left. And he gives it back, and then he's like, well, go home, Wendy. And you're not needed. You know, he's a total douchebag to his younger sister. And she's just completely distraught, doesn't know what to do. And then Joshua finds her again and starts comforting her. And then she makes her way to this garden area where she sees this nice old man sitting there like in the wildlife, feeding these little dogs. There's like these little puppies. And he's just there, just this kind man. He's talking to her. And then this other woman, Fasalina, shows up with this box, opens the box, and what do you know? It's the fucking claw. And this kind old man puts the claw on, and that's when we get the reveal, like, how's this kind old man the main villain? What's the meaning of this? So that's when we get the reveal right there. And then Wendy and Vaughn press on. It kind of rhymed there. I didn't really mean to have that, but you get the idea. So they continue their pursuit. Vaughn runs into Ray again, and they have a little thing going on. And then there's this great battle between this guy named Gadavid, complete badass Gadavid, who pilots the Diablos armor. And him and Vaughn are battling. Like, the mech battles are so fucking cool. There's a little bit of CGI when they summon the mechs from outer space. There's CGI there, which looks terrible. But when the mechs are battling and there's no CGI, it looks great. Absolutely fantastic. I love how, like, transitions, too, because they're, like, inside the mech. You see, like, the grimacing faces of everybody, and then you see, like, the mechs battling each other. It's, like, whew, so awesome. So another plot point, too, is Vaughn has, I guess it's similar to a Rubik's Cube, but it's horizontal, or vertical, I should say. This way. Whatever way that is. It goes up. I don't even fucking know. But he's playing with, like, this Rubik's Cube type thing. Right? And he eventually defeats Gadavid, but then there's this other guy named William Will Woo who shows up, and he's completely overpowering Vaughn. And then we learn, too, that Vaughn has, like, these markings on his chest where he's connected to the armor. And, like, if he doesn't pilot it for a certain amount of time, like, he starts to die. You know? It's, like, really crazy. So, you know, Wendy's nursing him to health, and then she gets sick, and then he's nursing her to health. And then he's having a complete panic attack, you know, because he thinks he's going to die against Woo. And he's doing this Rubik's Cube thing, which he's been doing for the whole series, and he can't figure it out. Actually, Joshua offered to help him. He's like, no, I need to do it myself. And then he eventually solves the puzzle. It's like, fuck yeah, there's like all these awesome moments where these things happen. It's like, hell yeah. And then he's able to get back in the armor and save the day. And then he gets all these nicknames throughout the series, like Vaughn, the cranky guy. I had it written down here. Let me see. It was called, like, Vaughn, the unemployed Vaughn, the freeloader, hungover Vaughn, invincible Vaughn, pretty boy Vaughn. And then eventually, his favorite name that he accepts is Vaughn of the Dawn. And it's like, hell yeah, dude, Vaughn of the Dawn. So eventually they all converge again, and, you know, they get ready for a final battle. He meets this other girl named Priscilla, who, she's like competing in a contest where these other mechs are fighting, and then, you know, she agrees to accompany them, and just some cool stuff. And then the Eldora Bros show up again, and they get ready for their final battle. So I'm not going to spoil the final battle for you, because, no, this series is fucking incredible. I absolutely loved it. I am going to show you some of the pictures I have, though, because I took screenshots to post on Twitter just to sort of catalog this, so I have it ready for the video. Because if you search it online, there's not a whole lot of pictures or things like that, so I had to chronicle it myself, my own screenshots. So I'll make my self small here and show you some. I have a million fucking tabs, so get ready for this. It's just some great stuff. This is probably what I use for the thumbnail. This is like the main cover art. Vaughn and Wendy. See what I mean? He has this cowboy hat on with the ring, and he like turns it to the side. That's how he summons his armor. And there's young Wendy right there. Then we have, like I said, I posted the video of this, which this was such an epic moment with the El Dorado 5, like this mech. So there's, if you saw the video, it's like 12 minutes long or so. There's like 4 different pieces, really 5 pieces, when they all combine to form like this super awesome mech. And it's like, oh my god. And the voice actors for the Eldora Bros are just like so badass. What were their names again? You had Jose, Nero, Barrio, and Carlos. And Carlos is like the unsung hero because he's passed the fuck out. And then eventually, like later on, he wakes up and he's like, oh, you fools, you gotta press this button. And it's like, Carlos saves the day. Absolute legend. So, like, early episodes, until you get to episode 12, until you meet the Claw, they have some, you know, one-off episodes. Like, this one, there was, like, a husband and wife, like, hassling Vaughn. And this is the quote from Vaughn right here. I've had enough of these chuckleheads. And he, like, drinks his sword out. He's like, fuck these guys. And there's Wendy right there. Again, just like old. I mean, this isn't even old school. I guess it is kind of old school now. It's almost 10 years old. It came out in 05. But like, just something about older anime. Maybe it's old good, new bad, like that meme. Something about like this just looks fucking awesome. Look at this. You got all these like great menacing looks in everyone's eyes. This chick, she was pulled up in one episode. I don't know. I thought she was cute, so I took a screenshot of her, Vivian. This is what I wrote. I think she only appears in this one episode, but she's still pretty cute. So there's my mind for you. Yeah, here, like, the grimacing faces, man. Ray. Like, so, oh, dude. So, episode 12, when we got the reveal of the claw, right? This fucker is, like, eavesdropping, and he shows up, and he's like, oh, you're the claw, I'm gonna kill you. And he, like, this is him pointing his gun at the claw, ready to shoot him. Fuck yeah, dude. It's like, oh, my God. And Faustino was there. I think, not that she deflected the, yeah, I think she did deflect the shot. You know, he wasn't able to do it. Or else the claw, blocked it itself because it was metal. So Joshua gets injured at a certain point, and like 5 times throughout the episode they cut to him in the hospital. First he's just laying there, then they put the this thing around the bandana around his mouth so he won't make any noise because he's like he's screaming. Then they blindfold him, then they tie him down. Like they add a piece. Like, it starts with him just laying in bed, then they put the thing on his mouth, then they put the thing on his face, then they tie him down, because it's like, just stay in the hospital and get some rest, kid. Oh, I loved it. Gotta have a fan service episode. So here's Carmen99, and her name is Carmen99 because of her bust size, by the way, if you couldn't tell. But they had an episode where they had to go to this place. It was called, like, Bikini, and it was just, like, an excuse for all the characters, all the female characters, anyway, to wear bikinis and stuff, and, you know, you gotta have that. Especially with Carmen99, right? So here's Saudad. How the fuck do you pronounce it? Saudad? Saudad. I don't know. This was Michael's armor that he piloted, which is just badass looking. Like, all the mechs are comparable to looking like this. I didn't screenshot all the mechs, obviously, but they're all fucking badass. Great designs right there. The Legends. The Eldora 5. This one's... this guy's name was I think Nero, Jose, Barrio, and Carlos. How can you figure Carlos? That guy's name is Barrio. I get these guys confused. I think this one's Jose and this one's name is Nero. And piloting the Eldora 5. Oh my god. So then, when they all converge together, they're like, oh, we gotta get a group photo. And you just look at everyone's faces. Like, Carlos, pass the fuck out. We got Yukiko, Carmen, Wendy right next to Vaughn, Priscilla, who's like trying to like get a date with Vaughn, and Vaughn's still grieving his you know, Elena, his dead wife. And then Ray. I love it, man. So here's Ray's mech, the Vulcan. And that's a plot point later on, is Ray gets blind in his battle, and Joshua, he's got a headset on, and Joshua's giving him orders, like, fire this way, rotate 80 degrees, rotate 20 degrees, and he's just firing like a madman. It's like, dude, so many epic moments. This is Carlos when all hope seems lost. He wakes up, like you saw him here. He's like passed the fuck out during the whole series, and then he wakes up. You gotta press this button, boys! And he wakes up, presses the button, and then he's like, ah, see, I told you, it's come to save the day. And this is in the last episode. Everyone parting their ways. That's when you see this is like the El Dorado in episode 3. See the color there? And then it transforms into the Eldora Soul. And that's Priscilla's mech suit. And this is, you know, Vaughn going a separate way. And I saw this tweet just searching it, and this guy just said it best. Gray Ranger 3. Gun Sword is like a microcosm of the sincere lunacy of super robot anime. The battle to decide the fate of the world involves a homeless man in a tux, a gymnast piloting a mech with guns in its butt, Mexican grandpa Power Rangers, and a woman controlling a mech by pole dancing. And he said it absolutely best, dude. A homeless man in a tux, the gymnast piloting a mech with guns in the butt, Mexican grandpa Power Rangers, and a This is Pasolino, one of the villains. A woman controlling a mech by pole dancing. Fucking Kino. How did I not like this? I gotta like this for this guy. Oh god, but yeah, I love this series, man. I should have mentioned too, like I went over the Claw's overall plot. The Claw's overall plot was he wanted to like reset the world and to like have a new beginning, so everyone could be one. You know, and he puts on the facade that he's like this nice humble man, but like there's a few instances where he's like hugging people and he's like stabbing them in the back, like puncturing their back with his claw, and it's like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry. And he has like a soft voice. Kirk Thornton knocked it out of the park, voice acting. Such a great series, man. I don't want to spoil too much because there definitely are some character deaths there, but just some great humor. Like every time Bond had the thing about the condiments, I was dying. I loved like the bro chemistry between Ray and Joshua, and I know I said I wasn't going to spoil it, but there's a scene like Ray calls him Joshua throughout the whole series, but then eventually calls him Josh, and it's just, dude, it made me fucking cry. Like I had multiple teary eyes. That one legitimately made me cry, and I get kind of emotional watching this shit if you couldn't already tell. But dude, I loved it. I highly recommend the series. Like I said, it's only 26 episodes. It was phenomenal. Like I was hooked after watching the first episode. There's some anime where it's like, yeah, you gotta give it time, you know, to accept it or whatever. But I think if you don't enjoy this after the first episode, I think, you know, you gotta like, you know, get yourself checked or something. But highly recommend it. Thank you once again, Justin, for recommending this series to me. And, you know, I'm going to have to look at your other recommendations. But my next big review series is going to be of Bleach, which I'll have a video next week talking about that and how we're going to go forward with those reviews. But I love this series. I would like to watch it again in the future, actually. I would like to try. I'll keep scouring eBay to see if I can get a deal. But there's no new copies in print anymore, so you got to go on eBay to find a good price, I guess. But definitely recommend. The English dub was amazing, and fuck the anime people, like these anime purists who are like, fuck the English dubs. Okay, we understand there's all these woke people work everywhere, you know, there's woke actors, whatever. They're in everything, but they did a great job with the voice cast, and like old school dubs are amazing. They really are. I don't care what the haters say, and that's my opinion, and that's just, I'm sticking to it. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Have a great day, everybody.